Hi friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. This week I've got 3 more inspirational meals for you, and they're all very delicious and budget friendly, so I hope that you enjoy them. Let's get started. The first meal that I'm going to be making is a 1-pan Tex-Mex beef and rice. I'm starting off by browning 1.5 pounds of ground beef in my large skillet over a medium-high heat. Mine was still a little frozen here, so you see me kind of breaking that up, but it's perfectly fine. And yeah, you're just going to brown that all up, and then you'll go ahead and drain your grease, and then you're going to go ahead and add in about a half an onion to an onion's worth, a yellow onion and that's been diced up, and just go ahead and let that soften up. Then you're going to go ahead and add in 10 ounces of chicken broth. If you are making it with bouillon, you're going to need a cup and a quarter cup, and then 2 cups of water and 2 cups of rice. Give that all a good mix, and I kind of just press that rice down into the liquid. You're going to go ahead and cover that and let that simmer for about 20 minutes until your rice is cooked through. Then just go ahead and fluff that all up, give it a stir. Then you're going to need some chili sauce. Aldi has this for very inexpensive, like slightly over $1 if you're looking for that on a budget. And you're going to add in 1/2 a cup of that chili sauce, as well as 1 cup of salsa. Then you're going to go ahead and add in 1 can of drained corn and 1 rinsed and drained can of black beans and a packet of taco seasoning. I'm using it from this container, so I'll need 4 tablespoons worth or a quarter cup. And go ahead and add that in. I almost forgot that I needed to add some green chilies, so I started stirring this, but you will need a small can of green chilies added into there. Then just go ahead and make sure you stir that very well so you combine all the chilies and all those sauces. They all coat your rice evenly. I serve this up with some cheddar cheese, sour cream, avocado, and some tortilla chips. I always love a 1-pan meal like this that is filling but also very delicious, so I hope you guys enjoy that. The next meal I'm making is an Instant Pot creamy garlic chicken pasta. To start off, you're going to need 3 chicken breasts. I only had very large chicken breasts, and so I used 2 of them. It would have been fine to only use 1 though. If you only have large, just use 1. It's fine. I was left with extra chicken. Go ahead and season that with some paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper. I believe I'd used some Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and this is just kind of like eyeing it. I'm just covering like the top of the chicken with seasonings. I also added some Italian seasoning and this garlic herb seasoning. And then you're going to go ahead and add in 3.5 cups of chicken broth. And on top of that, I'm adding 1/2 of a diced onion on top, as well as some fresh garlic that I pressed, and you can use whatever amount you like. I probably used a good few tablespoons worth. And then you're going to add 1 pound, which is 16 ounces of Albo macaroni noodles. I put this on for 10 minutes, and I actually did need to increase after that for 3 additional minutes, so mine needed 13 minutes because I was using such large frozen chicken breasts. If you are using smaller or defrosted, you can get away with 8 to 9 minutes. And once that was cooked, I went ahead and shredded it. And then to the pasta, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of half and half and some Parmesan cheese. I just eyed this as well. I did use a majority of this 8-ounce bag in total, and I'm just stirring that into the pasta so it can start to melt. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my shredded chicken and just go ahead and stir it again. And this is the point where you will taste it, see if you need any additional seasonings. I did add some more salt, pepper, even a little bit more of the Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and a little more cheese. And I served this with some air fried asparagus. This was absolutely delicious. Finicky because of my chicken time needing to be upped for the few extra minutes, but it was no big deal, and definitely worth the outcome because this was super good. And if your chicken breasts are too large like mine, just make sure to add a little bit extra broth or water just to cover your pasta, and you'll be good. This last meal that I'm making is garlic butter ground turkey and cauliflower skillet. To start off, you're going to need 1/2 a head of cauliflower sliced into florets. I had a pretty small cauliflower, so I just used the whole thing, and I'm just breaking it off into some larger chunks and off the camera, because I didn't want to show you the whole process of chopping all of it, but I cut it down into some even more bite-sized pieces. Now I have my large skillet over medium-low heat, and I've added 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my cauliflower florets and just go ahead and let those soften up and also start to turn like golden brown, making sure not to burn them. And I seasoned them with some salt and pepper as well. And I just went ahead and gave those a toss in those seasonings for a moment, and I let them continue to brown, and then I went ahead and deglazed the pan with a tablespoon of lemon juice. The original recipe has you add in some fresh cilantro at this point. I'm going to add it in later on, so I went ahead and removed that cauliflower, and to my skillet I went ahead and added in 3 tablespoons of butter and 1 tablespoon of oil, and I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 pound of ground turkey, and I'm just using my meat chopping tool to go ahead and break that up, and you're just going to go ahead and cook that until there's no longer any more pink remaining. And I'm just going to go ahead and season that with 1 tablespoon of onion powder as well as some fresh garlic. I believe it called for 2 tablespoons of garlic. I'm just putting in the amount that I prefer. It didn't call for this, but I'm adding some Badia Complete. I'm just going to go ahead and give that all a good stir to get all those seasonings all evenly distributed. And this is the point where I'll add in that fresh cilantro. You can add in parsley as well. It didn't call for any specific measurement. I just kind of added a bunch because I really like cilantro. If you don't, you can omit that, and like I said, you could just sub it with parsley. And then we're going to go ahead and add in a 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce, or mine was just probably regular soy sauce, and then 2 tablespoons of sriracha. And I gave everything a good stir to kind of combine the flavors, and I wanted to taste this and kind of see if I needed to add something specific. And I kind of added the recipe seasonings out of order at this point. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of taste it, so I gave it all a stir. And then I added some extra butter because I just wanted to create a little bit more of a sauce to coat the cauliflower. When I put it back in, I wanted a little bit more of that buttery, flavorful sauce. So I'm adding a little bit extra butter, maybe a tablespoon to 2, letting that melt. And then I pushed my ground turkey aside to one side of the skillet, and I'm kind of leaving some of that sauce to the other side so that I can add in my cauliflower florets to that and give them a toss in that a little bit so they can get nice and coated. And also at this point they're going to be re-warming up back in the pan, and then I season them with those red chili pepper flakes that the recipe called for, and some sesame oil. It's about 2 teaspoons worth of sesame oil that I added. I really love sesame oil, so I may have given a little bit extra, but if you don't like that so much, you could always cut it down as well to none, or even maybe just a teaspoon. I served this with just a side salad. I love meals that have ground turkey, so I really enjoyed this, and I also love cauliflower. It had just such a nice, amazing flavor to it with all those seasonings, and we really enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future What's for Dinner videos, and I hope you all are having a great week.